The movie begins by showing a scene in which a male prisoner named Court Gentry is interrogated by a CIA agent named Donald Fitzroy. Court is known to be a private spy agency employed by a woman from England to catch and kill criminals, especially international assassins who are difficult to track down by ordinary police. At that time, Donald has looked at Court's criminal record and knows he has been in prison for the same offense or case, so he will likely be given a more severe sentence than before. After knowing his abilities and intelligence, Donald offered Court a deal to join the CIA and help carry out all the secret missions. If he is willing to do that, he will be released from jail, and his previous criminal records will be deleted from the police database. Considering that Court still desires to kill the big criminals, he accepts the offer. From then on, he will become the sixth member of a secret CIA program called Sierra and use the name 6 in every mission he carries out in the CIA organization. The scene moves to a nightclub in downtown Bangkok, where 6 will carry out a mission with a female CIA agent named Danny Miranda. That night was New Year's Eve, and everyone seemed to be having fun during the excitement of the party that night. In this mission, 6 and Miranda are assigned by a CIA official named Denny Carmichael to kill a former CIA spy agent suspected of often leaking classified state information to foreign countries to get a lot of money. After observing the surroundings, Miranda handed 6 a key in the form of a water gun so that he could access a secret room where the weapons and equipment needed for this mission were hidden. After 6 assembled a sniper rifle from the black briefcase in the room and connected the radio communication with the CIA office, he began to prepare himself in the right position to monitor the target's movements. This time, the target for 6's assassination was a man named Mulvey, who was going to make a transaction selling confidential information with a client in the VIP room at the club. When Mulvey and his bodyguards entered the VIP room, 6 started to prepare to shoot with his sniper, but he suddenly felt hesitant to shoot the target when he saw a small child approaching Mulvey. Unfortunately, 6 failed to kill Mulvey before the New Year's countdown was over, and he almost lost his chance to complete the mission perfectly. Miranda was surprised by his different attitude and asked why 6 didn't kill his target. Apparently, 6 said he has another plan to kill Mulvey, in which he secretly sets off the fire alarm to create havoc at the party. He will use the opportunity to kill Mulvey's men one by one. The visitors who knew about the murders screamed hysterically, and the atmosphere in the place became even more chaotic. Then, Miranda helps defeat Mulvey's remaining men while 6 chases the target before the target can escape. Unfortunately, Mulvey barely escapes 6 when he desperately jumps out of a glass window and jumps off a building, but 6 catches him from behind and manages to catch him. In the middle of a short fight, Mulvey asks him to stop attacking and tells him secret information. Suddenly, Mulvey reveals that he knows about the Sierra project run by the CIA, and he knows that 6 is a member of the project because he is actually the 4th member of the project. However, 6 did not believe his words and tried to attack him for the second time until 6 managed to stab his body with a knife. Then 6 asked who had recruited Mulvey to be part of Sierra if he was part of the member. Mulvey replies that Donald recruited him several years ago and has trained at the same place as the current 6. After that, Mulvey tells 6 that Denny, currently the commander of the mission implementation at the CIA, is a corrupt agent and he has committed many crimes secretly for his own benefit. Even after Mulvey discovered that the person who ordered 6 to kill him was Denny, he became even more convinced that one day Denny would order another agent to kill 6. Before Mulvey dies, he gives 6 a necklace in which the necklace contains all the data he needs to uncover all of Denny's crimes. After 6 received the necklace, Miranda approached him. At that time, she asked why Mulvey could find out information about the Sierra project even though it was a secret CIA program. She said she didn't know exactly how Mulvey found out about the Sierra program, but most likely, Mulvey knew the information from the CIA database he had hacked. Then 6 starts to think that what Mulvey said about Denny before actually happened, so he rushes off to check the contents of the flash disk stored in the necklace Denny gave. Soon after, other CIA officers took all of Mulvey's belongings, from cell phones, watches, wallets, and other items, but they could not find what Denny was looking for. As it turned out, the necklace Mulvey had previously given to 6 was the item Denny was after, which was why he ordered other Sierra agents to hunt down Mulvey. After receiving the report, Denny contacted 6 and asked if he had found a necklace in Mulvey's body, but 6 lied and said that he did not know anything about the necklace. After that, he buys clothes from a waiter so that Denny's men don't recognize him and goes to an internet cafe to open the contents of a flash drive that Mulvey gave him. However, because the data on the drive was still encrypted, 6 rushed to the post office to send the flash drive to his old boss to ask for help opening the contents of the drive. After sending the package, 6 contacted Donald, now retired from the CIA organization and has been living a normal life as an ordinary civilian. He tells Donald about the last mission, where Denny asks him to kill agents from another Sierra program. Six suspects that Mulvey is not actually a traitorous agent, and Denny is only scapegoating him because he knows a big secret that Denny has been hiding all this time. Six is increasingly convinced about that after Denny asks about Mulvey's necklace, and, most likely, what Mulvey said earlier is the truth. Hearing this, Donald asks Six to always be wary of Denny because he is a very cruel person and dares to do anything to get what he wants. Donald is sure that other CIA agents will target Six and want to seize that secret data, so he advises Six to flee the city. Donald says he will send his men to pick up Six at the airport, and Six must take off after he arrives at the airport before the CIA finds out where they are. Meanwhile, at CIA headquarters, Denny's female colleague, Susan Brewer, reports that Six did not participate in picking up agents in Bangkok. The Sierra program, a program to recruit talented elite-class prisoners to become field agents, should have been disbanded long ago, but Denny couldn't get rid of them all easily. He assigns an outside agent named Lloyd Hansen to hunt down Six and kill him secretly. However, Susan advised him not to do that because the mission was very dangerous, and their secrets could all be exposed. Hansen is a spy agent and an assassin who often tortures his hostages with various tortures to get important information that the client wants. That night in an abandoned warehouse located in Monaco, he tortured an old man who was a secret informant using an electric shock device and a car battery. In the middle of the torture process, Hansen suddenly gets a phone call from Denny asking him to find the whereabouts of an agent named Six and kill him after taking a secret flash drive from him. Denny tells Hansen that the flash disk owned by Six contains secret information about the crimes they have committed so far, and he is in danger if he doesn't get the flash disk back soon. Denny says he will send Susan to the field to accompany Hansen on this search mission to get the secret data more quickly before other CIA officials find out about their actions. Before going to see Hansen, Susan tells him over the phone that Six has a fairly close relationship with Donald, a CIA agent who retired 1 year ago. Hearing this, Hansen suspected that Donald knew Six's current location, so he planned to take a member of Donald's family hostage so that he would reveal Six's whereabouts. The next day, Six arrived at a Bangkok airport and met Donald's man named Barnes, and they left the place using a private jet. At the same time, Hansen arrives at a cemetery and meets Donald to find out Six's current location. He threatens that he will kill Donald's niece, Claire Fitzroy, if Donald is not willing to share this information because now his men have taken Claire as hostage. Shortly after Donald found out that Claire had been kidnapped, he contacted Alex and asked him to kill Six because now the lives of his family were in danger. Hearing this, Alex had no choice but to carry out those orders and kill Six on the plane so his family could be saved. But apparently, Six overheard the conversation between Alex and Donald and knew that he would be killed, so when Alex and his men approached him, he put up a fight by spraying all of them with gas to extinguish the fire. Six was forced to fight Alex and all of his men on the plane to save himself, but the fight accidentally caused a gas leak in the plane, and the plane started to go out of control. In this situation, Six tries to use the opportunity to escape by stealing one of Alex's men's parachutes and jumping from the plane. In the evening, Donald, with Hansen, received a phone call from Six, who asked why he wanted to kill him. Donald explained that Hansen had kidnapped Claire, so he was forced to do all of that. Six, who at that time was on a mountain in Turkey, then talked to Hansen and tried negotiating to save Claire. Suddenly, Hansen asked him to meet at one place and give Mulvey's flash drive necklace, but Six refused to hand over the flash drive and hung up on the call. Shortly after, Hansen tells Donald that he will send a very dangerous assassin named Avik San to hunt down and kill Six wherever he goes. The scene switches to 2 years ago, where Six was assigned by his female boss, Margaret, to escort Claire to London while Donald was on a mission. It turned out that Claire has a heart condition that is quite severe, so she has a cardiac shock device implanted in her body, so Six has to be careful and always pay more attention to her health condition. One night, Claire fainted after she experienced shortness of breath, and Six, who knew about it, rushed her to the hospital so that she could get treatment. Luckily, she got proper medical attention, and she just needed a few more days of rest to recover. That night when they arrive home and have dinner together, Six suddenly asks Claire to sleep early after he discovers a signal disturbance on the surveillance camera and gets a hunch that a criminal has infiltrated the house. His suspicion proved correct. Shortly after Claire entered her room, Six was suddenly attacked by an intruder, causing a fight. After Six defeated the intruder, Claire approached him and asked what had happened. But he asks her not to worry too much about the problem and go back to sleep while he deals with the problem alone. The scene switches to the present, where Six has arrived in Vienna, Austria, and goes to a secret room to retrieve all the weapons and equipment sent by Margaret. Then he goes to meet one of his acquaintances there to send a heart trigger to Claire and make a fake passport. When Six was about to take a profile photo for his new passport, the old man behaved strangely and suspiciously because he always checked his cell phone. It turned out that the old man had gotten information from the contest posters spread by Hansen, who was looking for Six's whereabouts and would pay a sizable fee for anyone who could find him. Soon after, the old man led Six into the trap and locked him in a deep well. Meanwhile, in Berlin, Miranda is interrogated by Denny about what really happened with Mulvey's arrest in Bangkok and investigates whether he was involved in the drive theft perpetrated by Six. Moreover, Miranda has carried out many missions with Six, so she likely knows a lot of information about him. Denny then explained the background of the Sierra program's formation, known as the Gray Man Program, where the CIA will recruit several talented prisoners to work as their agents for quite a long time. However, Denny felt that the Sierra or the Gray Man program would not run smoothly, so there was a discourse to sentence all Sierra agents to death or return them to prison. However, Miranda admitted that she knew nothing about Six's drive or hidden plans because she was only carrying out official missions by the CIA. Hearing this answer, Denny decided to suspend her operating license and then left her after he deactivated her from the assignment. Not long after that, Denny received news from Hansen that someone had caught Six in Vienna, so they rushed to Austria to kill him and get Mulvey's drive. At the same time, Six kept trying to escape from the well by breaking into the water pipe in the well so that water could fill the well and he could rise to the surface of the well. When Hansen and his men arrived at the location, the old man who had captured Six demanded the payment of $50,000, but instead of paying the old man, Hansen killed him instead. When his men were preparing to catch Six from the well, a large explosion suddenly occurred inside the well, throwing everyone out with a bang. After Six managed to get out of the well, he beat Hansen's men one by one until Hansen was left alone. At that time, Hansen tried to fight against him and then pointed a gun at him while asking about Mulvey's flash disk. However, Six chose to remain silent and took a grenade out of his pocket before he finally jumped out through the window of the building. Hansen, who still survived the grenade explosion, tried to chase Six from behind and again pointed his gun. But fortunately, he was paralyzed after Miranda came to the location and shot a stun bullet into his neck. After that, Miranda takes Six hostages and forces him to come with her to the car because she wants to know what he is really planning. When Six tried to put up a fight and intended to escape, Miranda shot an anesthetic bullet at him until he fell unconscious. At the same time, Donald felt very relieved after he was reunited with his niece at Hansen and knew that Claire was still okay. Meanwhile, after Six regained consciousness from his fainting, Miranda interrogated him about the flash drive he had stolen from the CIA and asked where the location of the drive was. Unknown to Six, Hansen and his men have managed to track down the location of the package he sent before, but they are still trying to find out who received the package. At that time, Hansen tried to dig up information about the package recipient for Donald and asked who Six's colleagues were in Prague. However, because Donald refused to share this information, Hansen began torturing him by pulling his nails using a pair of pliers so that he would be willing to open his mouth about the package recipient. At the same time, Miranda and Six arrive in Prague to meet Margaret and ask what information she has found on the drive. After Margaret encrypts the data on the drive, she finds a lot of information about all the crimes committed by Denny and his gang. So far, they have tortured, murdered, and bombed criminals or CIA prisoners without official permission from the CIA. Donald and Margaret knew about some of Denny's crimes, so they were fired or retired earlier than they should have. Denny knows that Mulvey has collected evidence and documents related to the crimes he has been doing so far. Hence, he deliberately sends another agent to get rid of Mulvey and retrieve the data from Mulvey. After hearing Margaret's explanation, Six and Miranda plan to defend the drive and reveal all the crimes Denny has committed so far through a press release. Hearing this, Margaret advised them to go to a warehouse downtown and take a vehicle there to escape from the pursuit of Denny's men. Unfortunately, before they could escape from Margaret's place, Hansen and his men had already arrived and surrounded it. Then Hansen's men bombard her house with hundreds of bullets, so Six and the others must leave. After that, Margaret asks Six and Miranda to use a hidden shortcut in her house while she tries to hold off Hansen's men alone. While smoking a cigarette, she asked all of Hansen's men to enter the kitchen, and she blew up the place with an explosive bomb that she had prepared earlier so that no one survived. Six, who had previously escaped, returned to Margaret's place and tried to save her, but the big explosion had already happened. Unfortunately, the local police officers thought that Six was the perpetrator of the bomb explosion at Margaret's house, so they tried to arrest him. However, Six doesn't want to give up and tries to escape in another direction, but another police force has surrounded the area, so he can't escape anymore. Not long after, another of Hansen's men arrived at the scene and started shooting everyone in the place so that the exchange of fire between them and local police forces could no longer be avoided. During the chaos, Six tries to hide from police fire and escape from the place by sneaking on a city bus. Not long after, Miranda came driving a car and asked Six to jump into her car so they could quickly escape to a safe place. After they escape from Hansen's men, Six asks Miranda to help him save Donald and Claire before they reveal all of Denny's crimes to the media. After that, they rush to a hospital in London and steal a nurse's identity card to find a tool to track the location of the heart trigger device embedded in Claire's body. Unfortunately, the hitman hired by Hansen, namely Avik San, managed to find Six at the hospital and attacked him with a knife. Sadly, his hand was injured by the knife, but he could still fight against San, and a fierce fight between them began. After San managed to drop 6 and snatch the drive, he tried to escape but was again detained by several police officers. Then San managed to beat the police officers and tried to escape on a motorbike, but Miranda and 6 still tried to stop him. When Miranda was about to shoot San using a shotgun, she realized that the shotgun had no bullets, so he could run away from that place and take away Mulvey's drive. At that time, Miranda was annoyed at 6 for giving her a gun without bullets, and she was a little disappointed to learn that he still couldn't trust her. Meanwhile, at the hideout, Denny receives a report from Susan that Hansen and his men have been causing havoc in Prague when they try to wrest the drive from Margaret's hands. Then Susan reported that San had managed to get the drive from 6 and was currently on his way to their headquarters. When San arrived at Hansen's headquarters and handed over the drive to Hansen, Miranda and 6 had arrived at the scene to save Donald and Claire. That night, Hansen and Susan try to open the drive's contents, but just as they are about to do so, the power in the house suddenly goes out, and Miranda starts firing a bazooka at Hansen's helicopter. Shortly after, 6 and Miranda intend to lure all of Hansen's men out of the building so that Claire and Donald can use the opportunity to escape from the place. After the chaos, Hansen rushed to check Donald and Claire's room, but it turned out they managed to escape from the room thanks to 6's help. At the same time, Miranda fires another bazooka at the control center while 6 tries to help Donald and Claire get out of there as soon as possible. Unfortunately, Donald was hit by a bullet from one of Hansen's men and was badly injured, so he asked 6 to take Claire away from that place and leave him. After that, 6 invites Claire to jump into the swimming pool behind the building and intends to take her through the backyard. When Hansen walked over to Donald, who was seriously injured, he blew himself up, and the place used a hand grenade so that Claire, who realized that Donald was dead, could only cry sadly. San, who still managed to survive the explosion, intended to take the drive away, but Miranda, who saw this, tried to stop him. Surprisingly, after a brief scuffle between them, San decides to give her the drive and says he doesn't need money from Hansen anymore. On the other hand, Hansen, who survived the grenade explosion, tries to stop 6 by taking Claire hostage, who turns out to have been captured by his men. Shortly after, Miranda comes to 6's aid and advises him to negotiate with Hansen so they can get Claire back. After 6 emptied his gun and threw away his weapon, Hansen let go of Claire and let her go over to Miranda. After that, a one-on-one duel fight between them started and was quite fierce, but in the middle of the fight, Susan suddenly appeared and shot Hansen dead. Susan finally decides to betray Hansen by scapegoating him for this problem to save herself, and she asks 6 to be a witness in this case. At that moment, she threatens to imprison 6 if he is unwilling to cooperate with her, so he is forced to do what she says. After the big chaos ended, 6 and the others were rushed to the hospital so they could get medical attention, and he was treated in a tight room full of military guards. The next day, all the top brass at the CIA held a meeting to discuss Hansen's mess and interrogate Denny, Susan, and Miranda. After long negotiations, the CIA decided to release the 3 agents because they thought that all this chaos was only caused by Hansen alone. After the meeting ended, Denny quickly destroyed the drive he had gotten from Miranda earlier to destroy the evidence for all the crimes he had committed so far. Then she warns Denny that she will cancel their secret agreement if he dares to mess with Claire's life. When Denny and Susan try to find 6 at the hospital, they find that all the military officers stationed there have been killed by 6, and he has escaped from the hospital. At the same time, Claire, who was in a heavily guarded house by CIA agents, found a message in a vinyl song to play the song at a very loud volume. It turns out that it is a secret message from 6, who is trying to take her away from the house and save her from a corrupt CIA agent. The film ends when 6 defeats all the guards in that place and intends to take Claire to a safer hiding place. The moral that can be learned from this movie is that every mistake or crime we have ever committed will always come with consequences or karma, so we must be prepared to face all of that sooner or later.